Electric vehicles are no longer just a trend, they're the future of transportation. And while Tesla's been a dominant force in this space, other brands are stepping up to the plate. In fact, the CEO of Ford recently made a bold statement about Tesla that might surprise you. Stay tuned till the end to find out what it is. Looking to shake up the electric vehicle market, Jim Farley, CEO of Ford Motor Company, has set his sights on becoming the top producer of electric pickup trucks, challenging Tesla's current dominance. The road to achieving this goal won't be easy, as Tesla has held a commanding lead in EV car sales for years. But Farley and his team are making a serious investment with plans to pour nearly $50 billion into EV manufacturing over the next 5 years. With these bold moves, the question on everyone's mind is, can Ford's commitment and resources help them to dethrone the king of electric pickups? Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford Motors, recently made a statement about the company's transition to electric vehicles, making it sound easier. However, the reality is far from that. Despite Ford's efforts to electrify their fleet, they have been losing money on every electric vehicle they have produced. This has put the company in a difficult position, forcing them to reevaluate their strategy. Now they are working on coming up with a new plan to turn things around. In order to fully understand what this new strategy entails, it is important to delve into the historical background of Ford Motors. The company has a long and storied history, from revolutionizing the assembly line to dominating the American car market for decades. However, the rise of foreign competition and the increasing demand for more sustainable transportation has challenged Ford's dominance in recent years. As they navigate this new landscape, it'll be interesting to see what changes Ford implements to stay competitive in the ever-evolving automotive industry. But before we can discuss what this new strategy is, we'll have to understand the historical background of Ford Motors. In 1903, Henry Ford founded Ford Motors with a vision to produce bigger and more profitable cars. His revolutionary idea was to implement a business model known as vertical integration, which involved producing the parts of his cars in-house rather than relying on external suppliers. This model allowed Ford to have greater control over the supply chain, which afforded him more flexibility in controlling costs and maintaining quality. To bring his vision to life, Ford completed the Rouge River Superfactory in Michigan in 1928, which was the most advanced manufacturing plant of its time. The plant was a marvel of modern engineering, containing its own power plant, steel mill, railroad, glass factory, and even its own docks. It was the first large-scale factory designed to turn raw materials into fully prepared vehicles, all within the same facility. At that time, many found that Rouge River Superfactory was overkill, and it was precisely what separated Henry Ford from his rival automobile manufacturers. Through vertical integration, Ford was able to streamline the production process and reduce costs, which allowed him to sell his cars at a lower price point than his competitors. The business strategy propelled Ford Motors to become the dominant force in the American automobile industry for many years. However, the rise of foreign competition and the increasing demand for more sustainable transportation has challenged Ford's dominance in recent years. As a result, Ford has been forced to adapt and find new ways to stay competitive in the ever-evolving automotive industry. One of their recent initiatives is the transition to electric vehicles, which has not been without its challenges. Despite losing money on every electric vehicle they have produced, Ford is determined to find a solution and stay ahead of the curve. Looking back at the history of Ford Motors, it is clear that innovation and willingness to take risks have been key factors in their success. From the introduction of the Model T to the development of the Rouge River Superfactory, Ford Motors has always been at the forefront of the automotive industry. As they continue to navigate this new era of electric vehicles and sustainable transportation, it'll be interesting to see what new innovations and breakthroughs they bring to the table. The Rouge River factory was a testament to the power of vertical integration in the automotive industry. The in-house production of car parts allowed Ford to streamline the production process, reduce costs, and ultimately sell cars at a lower price point than its competitors. However, times have changed, and the same business model that made Ford successful in the past is no longer effective in the EV industry. Tesla has taken a different approach, making everything from scratch and integrating it with in-house software, which drastically reduces their dependence on conventional supply chain suppliers. This innovative approach has allowed Tesla to become the dominant producer of EV automobiles, leaving rivals such as Ford scrambling to rethink their business strategy. Tesla has achieved market supremacy in the EV industry through a number of strategies, one of which is making its own designs and proprietary technology. Instead of relying on suppliers for spare parts, Tesla has used a technique called catalog engineering, which involves making everything from scratch and integrating it with in-house software. This approach has allowed Tesla to be more flexible, control quality, and reduce costs, making them more competitive in the market. So why don't we see our legacy manufacturers adopting this approach? It's a good question. The reality is that vertical integration is not a new concept. Ford CEO Jim Farley recognized the benefits of this approach and has stated that using vertical integration in Ford EVs will cut back on labor requirements by 40%. However, this would also mean that the employment rate at Ford would be reduced by a significant margin, which is unfortunate news for line workers and technicians working with Ford. The Rouge manufacturing complex in Michigan is an example of the effectiveness of vertical integration, as the complex received iron ore from one end and produced finished T models from the other end. Many legacy manufacturers, such as Volkswagen, General Motors, and Mercedes-Benz, have made similar decisions regarding battery components to remain profitable. However, these companies still have to rely on electric motors sourced from their suppliers, which limits their control over the supply chain. As the EV industry continues to grow, it'll be interesting to see how manufacturers adapt and innovate to stay competitive. The CEO of Lucid Motors, Peter Rawlinson, shares a similar view on vertical integration, highlighting both how Lucid and Tesla have benefited from this approach. However, Rawlinson notes that the big giants in the automobile industry, while realizing that EV is the future, still rely heavily on outsourced motors, transmissions, battery technologies, inverters, and powertrains. This overdependence on third-party suppliers has been a big reason why these companies have struggled to compete with Tesla. In particular, the electric powertrain is a crucial component that cannot be obtained from a third party and reliably expected to be of impeccable quality. It's not just a product, it's technology itself. Unfortunately, many companies in the industry have yet to fully realize this. In contrast, Tesla recognized the importance of vertical integration and has been able to control the dominant chunk of EV car sales thanks to its vision. As the EV industry continues to evolve, it will be interesting to see how legacy automobile manufacturers adapt and innovate to remain competitive. Vertical integration may be the key to their success, but it'll require significant changes to their business model and supply chain management. Only time will tell if they're willing to make the necessary investments and take the risks needed to keep up with the fast-changing market. Now, the traditional approach of obtaining parts from third parties and assembling them together to produce EVs is no longer viable for legacy automobile manufacturers, as they realize that investing in mines, motors, and batteries is now essential to succeed in the market. However, the ideal winning combination for EVs is much more than that. Tesla's success comes from its ability to produce its own batteries as well as its own software. This synthesis between hardware and software is what has allowed Tesla to produce high-quality EVs that outsell its competitors. In contrast, the ownership and control of intellectual property among legacy vehicle makers have declined between 90 to 50% between the 1970s and 2010s. This has limited their ability to innovate and compete with Tesla, which was focusing on developing proprietary technology in-house. However, Tesla's strategy has not been cost-effective from the start. The company has invested heavily in vertical integration, and the costs associated with producing cars have been so high that despite its promise of building a car within $25,000, Tesla is still far off from the target. This highlights a significant gap between what companies promise and what they are able to deliver. As the EV industry continues to evolve, it'll be interesting to see how legacy automobile manufacturers adapt and innovate to stay competitive. Vertical integration may be the key to their success, but it will require significant investments and a willingness to take risks. Only time will tell if they are able to bridge the gap to compete with the likes of Tesla in the fast-changing market. Some companies are beginning to realize the benefits of true vertical integration. Lucid Group Incorporated and the Chinese flagship EV BYD have already been able to manufacture electric motors in-house. Now, Ford has also acknowledged the need to move forward with its own plants and supply chains, signaling a production strategy of moving back to the good old days when everything was manufactured in-house. Ford is committed to dominating the EV market and plans to manufacture 2 million vehicles by the end of 2026, including its latest F-150 pickup trucks. The whole production process is expected to cost around $50 billion, take significant construction time, and involve a lot of automation. But with Tesla pushing its vertical integration strategy to the furthest and reaping the best advantages, it remains to be seen if legacy automobile names such as Ford will be able to catch up. As the industry continues to advance, it'll be interesting to see if legacy automobile manufacturers can innovate and compete with Tesla's advanced technology and successful business model. So only time will tell if Ford and others can close the gap and become leaders in the EV industry. However, their commitment to vertical integration is a promising sign and suggests that they are willing to make the necessary steps to succeed in the market. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Now I want to give you a choice on what you want to see next. If you click the thumbnail on the left, you'll get more information on Cybertruck updates, and if you click the thumbnail on the right, you'll see updates on the Mexico Gigafactory. Whether you're interested in the latest developments on the highly anticipated Cybertruck or curious about the latest news on Tesla's manufacturing facility in Mexico, I've got you covered. So, light or dark, take your pick now, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.